Wherever venerable persons Arhanta dwell, that place is delightful. Forests are delightful. Where the world finds no delight, there the passionless will find delight, for they look not for pleasures. Chapter 8. The Thousands. Even though a speech be 1,000 words, but made up of senseless words, one word of sense is better, which if a man hears, he becomes quiet. Even though a gatha, poem, be 1,000 words, but made up of senseless words, one word of a gatha is better, which if a man hears, he becomes quiet. Though a man recite 100 gathas, made up of senseless words, one word of the law is better, which if a man hears, he becomes quiet. If one man conquer in battle 1,000 times thousands men, and if another conquer himself, he is the greatest of conquerors. One's own self conquered is better than all other people. Not even a god, a Gandharva, not Mara with Brahman could change into defeat the victory of a man who has vanquished himself, and always lives under restraint. If a man for 100 years sacrifice month after month with 1,000, and if he but for one moment pay homage to a man whose soul is grounded in true knowledge, better is that homage than sacrifice for 100 years. If a man for 100 years worship Agni, fire, in the forest, and if he but for one moment pay homage to a man whose soul is grounded in true knowledge, better is that homage than sacrifice for 100 years. Whatever a man sacrifice in this world as an offering or as an oblation for a whole year in order to gain merit, the whole of it is not worth a farthing. Reverence shown to the righteous is better. He who always greets and constantly reveres the aged, 4 things will increase to him: life, beauty, happiness, power. But he who lives 100 years, vicious and unrestrained, a life of one day is better if a man is virtuous and reflecting. And he who lives 100 years, ignorant and unrestrained, a life of one day is better if a man is wise and reflecting. And he who lives 100 years, idle and weak, a life of one day is better if a man has attained firm strength. And he who lives 100 years, not seeing beginning and end, a life of one day is better if a man sees beginning and end. And he who lives 100 years, not seeing the immortal place, a life of one day is better if a man sees the immortal place. And he who lives 100 years, not seeing the highest law, a life of one day is better if a man sees the highest law. Chapter 9. Evil. If a man would hasten towards the good, he should keep his thought away from evil. If a man does what is good slothfully, his mind delights in evil. If a man commits a sin, let him not do it again. Let him not delight in sin. Pain is the outcome of evil. If a man does what is good, let him do it again. Let him delight in it. Happiness is the outcome of good. Even an evildoer sees happiness as long as his evil deed has not ripened. But when his evil deed has ripened, then does the evildoer see evil. Even a good man sees evil days as long as his good deed has not ripened. But when his good deed has ripened, then does the good man see happy days. Let no man think lightly of evil, saying in his heart, "It will not come nigh unto me." Even by the falling of water drops, a water pot is filled. The fool becomes full of evil, even if he gather it little by little. Let no man think lightly of good, saying in his heart, "It will not come nigh unto me." Even by the falling of water drops, a water pot is filled. The wise man becomes full of good, even if he gather it little by little. Let a man avoid evil deeds as a merchant. If he has few companions and carries much wealth, avoids a dangerous road, as a man who loves life avoids poison. He who has no wound on his hand may touch poison with his hand. Poison does not affect one who has no wound, nor is there evil for one who does not commit evil. If a man offend a harmless, pure and innocent person, the evil falls back upon that fool, like light dust thrown up against the wind. Some people are born again. Evildoers go to hell, righteous people go to heaven. Those who are free from all worldly desires attain nirvana. Not in the sky, not in the midst of the sea, not if we enter the clefts of the mountains, is there known a spot in the whole world where a man might be freed from an evil deed. Not in the sky, not in the midst of the sea, not if we enter...
There goes the fucking... Hey, here we go. A bunch of fucking brain dead, brain rotted, hypnotized morons talking about nothing all day long, listening to toxic communication. It's pathetic. Get a fucking lives, chillers. And what happened to Tali and Nathan? Did their brains implode from all your stupidity, wasting all your fucking time? Read a book, you fucking miscreant, low IQ clubhouse rats. Go outside, get some sun, go to the gym, read a book, and stop with your stupid communication. You guys are all hypnotizing yourselves with stupid shit. One stupid person goes, another stupid person goes, and it's just stupid. I've got hours, hundreds of hours of you guys talking about nothing, picking your toes in Poughkeepsie, clipping your fingernails all around town, doing nothing. What a waste of fucking time. Read a book. Go to the fucking gym. What a waste of fucking time. Read a book. Go to the gym. Go to the gym and read a book, everybody. Stop with your stupid bullshit. Stop just saying stupid shit all the time like you're doing anything. There's no goal here. There's no objective. There's nothing. You guys are just hypnotizing each other with stupid shit. All right, I said my piece, everybody. Have a great day. Take care. All bye.
Worse off or
The
better
cleft of the
off
mountains is their
with
known
greater
spot in the
religion
whole
or
world,
less.
where death could not overcome. Chapter 10. Punishment. All men tremble at punishment. All men fear death. Remember that you are like unto them, and do not kill, nor cause slaughter. All men tremble at punishment. All men love life. Remember that you are like unto them, and do not kill, nor cause slaughter. He who, seeking his own happiness, punishes or kills beings who also long for happiness, will not find happiness after death. He who, seeking his own happiness, does not punish or kill beings who also long for happiness, will find happiness after death. Do not speak harshly to anybody. Those who are spoken to will answer thee in the same way. Angry speech is painful. Blows for blows will touch thee. If, like a shattered metal gong, you utter not, then you have reached nirvana. Contention is not known to you. As a cowherd with his staff drives his cows into the stable, so do age and death drive the life of men. A fool does not know when he commits his evil deeds, but the wicked man burns by his own deeds, as if burnt by fire. He who inflicts pain on innocent and harmless persons will soon come to one of these 10 states. He will have cruel suffering, loss, injury of the body, heavy affliction or loss of mind, or a misfortune coming from the king, or a fearful accusation, or loss of relations, or destruction of treasures, or lightning fire will burn his houses, and when his body is destroyed, the fool will go to hell. Not nakedness, not plaited hair, not dirt, not fasting or lying on the earth, not rubbing with dust, not sitting motionless, can purify a mortal who has not overcome desires. He who, though dressed in fine apparel, exercises tranquillity, is quiet, subdued, restrained, chaste, and has ceased to find fault with all other beings, he indeed is a Brahmana, an ascetic, Sramana, a friar, bhikshu. Is there in this world any man so restrained by humility that he does not mind reproof, as a well-trained horse the whip? Like a well-trained horse, when touched by the whip, be you active and lively, and by faith, by virtue, by energy, by meditation, by discernment of the law, you will overcome this great pain of reproof, perfect in knowledge and in behavior, and never forgetful. Well-makers lead the water wherever they like. Fletchers bend the arrow, carpenters bend a log of wood. Good people fashion themselves. Chapter 11. Old Age. How is their laughter? How is their joy? Or is this world always burning? Why do you not seek a light, you who are surrounded by darkness? Look at this dressed-up lump, covered with wounds, joined together, sickly, full of many thoughts, which has no strength, no hold. This body is wasted, full of sickness and frail. This heap of corruption breaks into pieces. Life indeed ends in death. Those white bones, those gourds thrown away in autumn, what pleasure is there in looking at them? After a stronghold has been made of the bones, it is covered with flesh and blood, and there dwell in it old age and death, pride and deceit. The brilliant chariots of kings are destroyed. The body also approaches destruction, but the virtue of good people never approaches destruction. Thus do the good say to the good. Looking for the maker of this tabernacle, I shall have to run through a course of many births, so long as I do not find him, and painful is but
You guys are still going. The show's over. You guys got nothing better to do on a beautiful Monday talking about nothing, wasting all your time. One person says something stupid, another person says something stupid. Hello? Is this thing even on? Welcome back to another episode of Super Stupid Communication, where you can watch people waste all their time doing nothing on a beautiful Monday. Welcome back to another episode of Brain Rot and Self-Hypnosis. One person talk, another person talk, and it's all just stupid talk. Try reading a book. Try going to the gym. Read a book. I don't know, come on here and just read poetry. Read a book. Just do anything other than sitting here talking to each other about nothing. Wasting all your time. What a fucking brain virus. What brain rot led you to this path? Oh, Nathan. Yeah, you didn't know Nathan got a TBI and he got brain rot. Tyler got brain rot too. So you guys are the blind leading the blind. Congratulations, everybody.
Earth again and again. But now, maker of the tabernacle, you have been seen. You shall not make this tabernacle again. All thy rafters are broken. Thy ridge pole is sundered. The mind, approaching the eternal, Visankara, Nirvana, has attained to the extinction of all desires. Men who have not observed proper discipline and have not gained treasure in their youth perish like old herons in a lake without fish. Men who have not observed proper discipline and have not gained treasure in their youth lie like broken bows, sighing after the past. Chapter 12. Self. If a man hold himself dear, let him watch himself carefully. During one at least out of the 3 watches, a wise man should be watchful. Let each man direct himself first to what is proper, then let him teach others. Thus a wise man will not suffer. If a man make himself as he teaches others to be, then, being himself well subdued, he may subdue others. One's own self is indeed difficult to subdue. Self is the lord of self. Who else could be the lord? With self well subdued, a man finds a lord such as few can find. The evil done by oneself, self-begotten, self-bred, crushes the foolish, as a diamond breaks a precious stone. He whose wickedness is very great brings himself down to the state where his enemy wishes him to be.
The best way to stop brain rot is to read a book. Many of you have forgotten what a book is, but when you pick it up and you go through what's called the pages and you read what's called the words, you develop sentences and concepts. Within a book, you could call it an external hard drive of information. This is the best way to communicate because coming into chillism demonstrating brain rot is a complete and total waste of time, everybody. There's no intelligence here. It's just people doing nothing, talking about nothing. They got nothing better to do. There's no purpose, no goal, no objective, you might call it. All right, everybody. Hope you have a great day now. I hope I broke the mind virus for you and you just delete the app. Just go on with life. There's nothing to see here, folks. Nothing. Chillism is nothing but a brain rot syndrome. A mind virus, you might call it. All right, everybody. Hope you enjoy.
As a creeper does with the tree which it surrounds. Bad deeds and deeds hurtful to ourselves are easy to do. What is beneficial and good, that is very difficult to do. The foolish man who scorns the rule of the venerable, Arahat, of the elect, Arya, of the virtuous, and follows false doctrines, he bears fruits to his own destruction, like the fruits of the Kataka reed. By
That's right, that's the best brain rot they've ever produced in this room, is playing good shit as opposed to actually talking. Or even listening to Lion or Jazzy this morning. What a horrific waste of time. What a horrible waste of time, everybody. This is called the Dhammapada. It's an audiobook. Maybe some of you dummies have actually enough wisdom to stop talking and just go silent. Be still and listen to some wisdom. I'll play it for you right now. Here you go. This is my free gift to chillism.
Do not follow the evil law. Do not live on in thoughtlessness. Do not follow false doctrine. Be not a friend of the world. Rouse thyself. Do not be idle. The law of virtue. The virtuous rests in bliss in this world and in the next. Follow the law of virtue. Do not follow that of sin. The virtuous rests in bliss in this world and in the next. Look upon the world as a bubble. Look upon it as a mirage. The king of death does not see him who thus looks down upon the world. Come, look at this glittering world, like unto a royal chariot. The foolish are immersed in it, but the wise do not touch it. He who formerly was reckless and afterwards became sober brightens up this world, like the mead from clouds. He whose evil deeds are covered by good deeds brightens up this world, like the moon when freed from the clouds. This world is dark, few only can see here, a few only go to heaven, like birds escaped from the net. The swans go on the path of the sun, they go through the ether by means of their miraculous power. The wise are led out of this world, when they have conquered Mara and his train. If a man has transgressed one law, and speaks lies, and scoffs at another world, there is no evil he will not do. The uncharitable do not go to the world of the gods. Fools only do not praise liberality. A wise man rejoices in liberality, and through it becomes blessed in the other world. Better than sovereignty over the earth, better than going to heaven, better than lordship over all worlds, is the reward of the first step in holiness. Chapter 14. The Buddha, the Awakened. He whose conquest is not conquered again, into whose conquest no one in this world enters, by what track can you lead him, the awakened, the omniscient, the trackless? He whom no desire with its snares and poisons can lead astray, by what track can you lead him, the awakened, the omniscient, the trackless? Even the gods envy those who are awakened and not forgetful, who are given to meditation, who are wise and who delight in the repose of retirement from the world. Difficult to obtain is the conception of men, difficult is the life of mortals, difficult is the hearing of the true law, difficult is the birth of the awakened, the attainment of Buddhahood. Not to commit any sin, to do good and to purify one's mind, that is the teaching of all the awakened. The awakened call patience the highest penance, long-suffering the highest nirvana, for he is not an anchorite, pravragita, who strikes others. He is not an ascetic, sramana, who insults others. Not to blame, not to strike, to live restrained under the law, to be moderate in eating, to sleep and sit alone, and to dwell on the highest thoughts. This is the teaching of the awakened. There is no satisfying lusts, even by a shower of gold pieces. He who knows that lusts have a short taste and cause pain, he is wise. Even in heavenly pleasures he finds no satisfaction. The disciple who is fully awakened delights only in the destruction of all desires. Men, driven by fear, go to many a refuge, to mountains and forests, to groves and sacred trees. But that is not a safe refuge. That is not the best refuge. A man is not delivered from all pains after having gone to that refuge. He who takes refuge with Buddha, the law, and the church, he who, with clear understanding, sees the four holy truths, pain, the origin of pain, the destruction of pain, and the eightfold holy way that leads to the quieting of pain, that is the safe refuge. That is the best refuge. Having gone to that refuge, a man is delivered from all pain. A supernatural person, a Buddha, is not easily found. He is not born everywhere. Wherever such a sage is born, that race prospers. Happy is the arising of the awakened. Happy is the teaching of the true law. Happy is peace in the church. Happy is the devotion of those who are at peace. He who pays homage to those who deserve homage, whether the awakened Buddha or their disciples, those who have overcome the host of evils and crossed the flood of sorrow, he who pays homage to such as have found deliverance and know no fear, his merit can never be measured by anybody. Chapter 15. Happiness. Let us live happily then, not hating those who hate us. Among men who hate us, let us dwell free from hatred. Let us live happily then, free from ailments, among the ailing. Among men who are ailing, let us dwell free from ailments. Let us live happily then, free from greed, among the greedy. Among men who are greedy, let us dwell free from greed. Let us live happily then, though we call nothing our own. We shall be like the bright gods, feeding on happiness. Victory breeds hatred, for the conquered is unhappy. He who has given up both victory and defeat, he, the contented, is happy. There is no fire like passion. There is no losing throw like hatred. There is no pain like this body. There is no happiness higher than rest. Hunger is the worst of diseases, the body the greatest of pains. If one knows this truly, that is nirvana, the highest happiness. Health is the greatest of gifts, contentedness the best riches, trust is the best of relationships, nirvana the highest happiness. He who has tasted the sweetness of solitude and tranquility is free from fear and free from sin, while he tastes the sweetness of drinking in the law. The sight of the elect, Ariya, is good. To live with them is always happiness. If a man does not see fools, he will be truly happy. He who walks in the company of fools suffers a long way. Company with fools, as with an enemy, is always painful. Company with the wise is pleasure, like meeting with kinsfolk. Therefore, one ought to follow the wise, the intelligent, the learned, the much enduring, the dutiful, the elect. One ought to follow a good and wise man, as the moon follows the path of the stars. Chapter 16. Pleasure. He who gives himself to vanity and does not give himself to meditation, forgetting the real aim of life and grasping at pleasure, will in time envy him who has exerted himself in meditation. Let no man ever look for what is pleasant or what is unpleasant. Not to see what is pleasant is pain, and it is pain to see what is unpleasant. Let, therefore, no man love anything. Loss of the beloved is evil. Those who love nothing and hate nothing have no fetters. From pleasure comes grief, from pleasure comes fear. He who is free from pleasure knows neither grief nor fear. From affection comes grief, from affection comes fear. He who is free from affection knows neither grief nor fear. From lust comes grief, from lust comes fear. He who is free from lust knows neither grief nor fear. From love comes grief, from love comes fear. He who is free from love knows neither grief nor fear. From greed comes grief, from greed comes fear. He who is free from greed knows neither grief nor fear. He who possesses virtue and intelligence, who is just, who speaks the truth and does what is his own business, him the world will hold dear. He in whom a desire for the ineffable, nirvana, has sprung up, who is satisfied in his mind and whose thoughts are not bewildered by love, he is called Udvramstratas, carried upwards by the stream. Kinsmen, friends and lovers, salute a man who has been long away and returns safe from afar. In like manner his good works receive him who has done good, and has gone from this world to the other, as kinsmen receive a friend on his return. Chapter 17. Anger. Let a man leave anger. Let him forsake pride. Let him overcome all bondage. No sufferings befall the man who is not attached to name and form, and who calls nothing his own. He who holds back rising anger like a rolling chariot, him I call a real driver. Other people are but holding the reins. Let a man overcome anger by love. Let him overcome evil by good. Let him overcome the greedy by liberality, the liar by truth. Speak the truth. Do not yield to anger. Give if thou art asked for little. By these 3 steps thou wilt go near the gods. The sages who injure nobody and who always control their body, they will go to the unchangeable place, nirvana, where, if they have gone, they will suffer no more. Those who are ever watchful, who study day and night, and who strive after nirvana, their passions will come to an end. This is an old saying, O Atula. This is not only of today. They blame him who sits silent, they blame him who speaks much. They also blame him who says little. There is no one on earth who is not blamed. There never was, there never will be, nor is there now, a man who is always blamed, or a man who is always praised. But he whom those who discriminate praise continually day after day, as without blemish, wise, rich in knowledge and virtue, who would dare to blame him, like a coin made of gold from the Gambu river? Even the gods praise him. He is praised even by Brahman. Beware bodily anger, and control thy body. Leave the sins of the body, and with thy body practice virtue. Beware of the anger of the tongue, and control thy tongue. Leave the sins of the tongue, and practice virtue with thy tongue. Beware of the anger of the mind, and control thy mind. Leave the sins of the mind, and practice virtue with thy mind. The wise who control their body, who control their tongue, who control their mind, are indeed well controlled. Chapter 18. Impurity. Thou art now like a sear leaf. The messengers of death, Yama, have come near to thee. Thou standest at the door of thy departure, and thou hast no provision for thy journey. Make thyself an island, work hard, be wise. When thy impurities are blown away, and thou art free from guilt, thou wilt enter into the heavenly world of the elect, Ariya. Thy life has come to an end, thou art near to death. There is no resting place for thee on the road, and thou hast no provision for thy journey. Make thyself an island, work hard, be wise. When thy impurities are blown away, and thou art free from guilt, thou wilt not enter again into birth and decay. Let a wise man blow off the impurities of self, as a smith blows off the impurities of silver one by one, little by little, and from time to time. As the impurity which springs from the iron, when it springs from it, destroys it, thus do a transgressor's own works lead him to the evil path. The taint of prayers is non-repetition. The taint of houses, non-repair. The taint of the body is sloth. The taint of a watchman, thoughtlessness. Bad conduct is the taint of woman. Greediness, the taint of a benefactor. Tainted are all evil ways in this world and in the next. But there is a taint worse than all taints. Ignorance is the greatest taint. O mendicants, throw off that taint and become taintless. Life is easy to live for a man who is without shame, a crow hero, a mischief maker, an insulting, bold, and wretched fellow. But life is hard to live for a modest man who always looks for what is pure, who is disinterested, quiet, spotless, and intelligent. He who destroys life, who speaks untruth, who in this world takes what is not given him, who goes to another man's wife, and the man who gives himself to drinking intoxicating liquors, he, even in this world, digs up his own root. O man, know this, that the unrestrained are in a bad state. Take care that greediness and vice do not bring thee to grief for a long time. The world gives according to their faith or according to their pleasure. If a man frets about the food and the drink given to others, he will find no rest either by day or by night. He in whom that feeling is destroyed and taken out with the very root finds rest by day and by night. There is no fire like passion. There is no shark like hatred. There is no snare like folly. There is no torrent like greed. The fault of others is easily perceived, but that of oneself is difficult to perceive. A man winnows his neighbour's faults like chaff, but his own fault he hides, as a cheat hides the bad die from the gambler. If a man looks after the faults of others and is always inclined to be offended, his own passions will grow, and he is far from the destruction of passions. There is no path through the air. A man is not a samana by outward acts. The world delights in vanity. The Tathagatas, the Buddhas, are free from vanity. There is no path through the air. A man is not a samana by outward acts. No creatures are eternal, but the awakened Buddha are never shaken. Chapter 19. The Just. A man is not just if he carries a matter by violence. No, he who distinguishes both right and wrong, who is learned and leads others not by violence but by law and equity, and who is guarded by the law and intelligent, he is called just. A man is not learned because he talks much. He who is patient, free from hatred and fear, he is learned. A man is not a supporter of the law because he talks much. Even if a man has learnt little but sees the law bodily, he is a supporter of the law, a man who never neglects the law. A man is not an elder because his head is grey. His age may be ripe, but he is called old in vain. He is truth, virtue, love, restraint, moderation. He who is free from impurity and is wise, he is called an elder. An envious, greedy, dishonest man does not become respectable by means of much talking only, or by the beauty of his complexion. He in whom all this is destroyed and taken out with the very root, he, when freed from hatred and wise, is called respectable. Not by tonsure does a disciplined man who speaks falsehood become a samana. Can a man be a samana who is still held captive by desire and greediness? He who always quiets the evil, whether small or large, he is called a samana, a quiet man, because he has quieted all evil. A man is not a mendicant, bhikshu, simply because he asks others for alms. He who adopts the whole law is a bhikshu, not he who only begs. He who is above good and evil, who is chaste, who with knowledge passes through the world, he indeed is called a bhikshu. A man is not a muni because he observes silence if he is foolish and ignorant, but the wise who, taking the balance, chooses the good and avoids the evil, he is a muni, and is a muni thereby. He who in this world weighs both sides is called a muni. A man is not an elect, Arya, because he injures living creatures. Because he has pity on all living creatures, thereby is a man called Arya. Not only by discipline and vows, not only by much learning, not by entering into a trance, not by sleeping alone, do I earn the happiness of release which no worldling can know. Bhikshu, be not confident as long as thou hast not attained the extinction of desires. Chapter 20. The Way. The best of ways is the eightfold. The best of truths is the 4 words. The best of virtues, passionlessness. The best of men, he who has eyes to see. This is the way. There is no other that leads to the purifying of intelligence. Go on this way. Everything else is the deceit of Mara, the tempter. If you go on this way, you will make an end of pain. The way was preached by me when I had understood the removal of the thorns in the flesh. You yourself must make an end. The Tathagatas, Buddhas, are only preachers. The thoughtful who enter the way are freed from the bondage of Mara. All created things perish. He who knows and sees this becomes passive in pain. This is the way to purity. All created things are grief and pain. He who knows and sees this becomes passive in pain. This is the way that leads to purity. All forms are unreal. He who knows and sees this becomes passive in pain. This is the way that leads to purity. He who does not rouse himself when it is time to rise, who, though young and strong, is full of sloth, whose will and thought are weak, that lazy and idle man will never find the way to knowledge. Watching his speech, well restrained in mind, let a man never commit any wrong with his body. Let a man but keep these 3 roads of action clear, and he will achieve the way which is taught by the wise. Through zeal, knowledge is gotten. Through lack of zeal, knowledge is lost. Let a man who knows this double path of gain and loss thus place himself, that knowledge may grow. Cut down the whole forest of lust, not a tree only. Danger comes out of the forest of lust. When you have cut down both the forest and its undergrowth, then, bhikshus, you will be rid of the forest and free. So long as the love of man towards women, even the smallest, is not destroyed, so long is his mind in bondage, as the calf that drinks milk is to its mother. Cut out the love of self like an autumn lotus with thy hand. Cherish the road of peace. Nirvana has been shown by Sugata, Buddha. Here I shall dwell in the rain, here in winter and summer. Thus the fool meditates, and does not think of his death. Death comes and carries off that man, prays for his children and flocks, his mind distracted, as a flood carries off a sleeping village. Sons are no help, nor a father nor relations. There is no help from kinsfolk for one whom death has seized. A wise and good man that knows the meaning of this should quickly clear the way that leads to nirvana. Through zeal, knowledge is gotten. Through lack of zeal, knowledge is lost. Let a man who knows this double path of gain and loss thus place himself, that knowledge may. Cut down the whole forest of lust, not only a tree. Danger comes out of the forest of lust. When you have cut down both the forest and its undergrowth, then, bhikshus, you will be rid of the forest and free. So long as the love of man towards women, even the smallest, is not destroyed, so long is his mind in bondage, as the calf that drinks milk is to its mother. Cut out the love of self, like an autumn lotus, with thy hand. Cherish the road of peace. Nirvana has been shown by Sugata, Buddha. Chapter 21. Miscellaneous. If by leaving a small pleasure one sees a great pleasure, let a wise man leave the small to the great. He who, by causing pain to others, wishes to obtain pleasure for himself, he, entangled in the bonds of hatred, will never be free from hatred. What ought to be done is neglected. What ought not to be done is done. The desires of unruly, thoughtless people are always increasing. But they whose whole watchfulness is always directed to their body, who do not follow what ought not to be done, and who steadfastly do what ought to be done, the desires of such watchful and wise people will come to an end. A true Brahmana goes scatheless, though he have killed father and mother and 2 valiant kings, though he has destroyed a kingdom with all its subjects. A true Brahmana goes scatheless, though he have killed father and mother and 2 holy kings and an eminent man besides. The disciples of Gautama are always well awake, and their thoughts day and night are always set on Buddha. The disciples of Gautama are always well awake, and their thoughts day and night are always set on the law. The disciples of Gautama are always well awake, and their thoughts day and night are always set on the church. The disciples of Gautama are always well awake, and their thoughts day and night are always set on their body. The disciples of Gautama are always well awake, and their mind day and night always delights in compassion. The disciples of Gautama are always well awake, and their mind day and night always delights in meditation. It is hard to leave the world.
Hello, beautiful moderators. This is your friend Mojo. I'd like to reserve 60 seconds of your precious clubhouse time to read you a poem.
Hell yeah. Let's go.
So take the deepest breath of the day. Hold it for 10 seconds.
Ooh, I love the smell of autumn coming, the beginning of autumn.
The Lord of Beauty enters the soul as a man walks into an orchard in spring. Come into me, that way again. Light the lamp in the eye of Joseph. Cure Jacob's sadness. Though you never left, come and sit down here and ask, why are you so confused? Like a fresh idea in an artist's mind, you fashion things before they come into being. You sweep the floor like the man who keeps the doorway. When you brush a form clean, it becomes what it truly is. You guard your silence perfectly, like a water bag that doesn't leak. You live where Abby lives, because your heart donkey was strong enough to take you there.
Oh, that was precious.
What a great poem. Thanks for sharing.
There's a half a moon right now. Oh, I love it. It's the chilliness of the winter coming. I miss this feeling. So when the summer ends, it feels like bittersweet, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I love it at the same time. Winter can be so harsh and it lasts forever. Well, Alpha, why were you laughing? Because I said the smell of autumn coming.
It was funny because he was like, I'm going to read you a poem. And then I
Yeah.
was quiet and you were like, wow, I love this. Like, just like, and then he just starts going. I was like, oh, wow.
What have you been up to, Mojo Jojo? Is the real Jojo back on the app or not yet? Still on holiday?
No, he might be gone. I don't know. He deleted his house. I think I'm the new Mojo. I'm what's left.
I remember you wanted to take revenge on him for a long time. But look what happened. God is on your side.
Well, people were very upset because we formed a union. And, somebody asked me, are you the parasite or are you the host? And
Oh, was it Jazzy?
no. The point is that, I'm playing a very high level multi-variable game, but because I do all these recordings, it really does it makes me like the marketplace for people, because it's like the show Cops. People know they're being recorded by me, so they're all doing a show. They're checking in to see if I'm recording. They pop in, they see, yep, he's live streaming the room, boom, back to the room, and then they keep going. So it's like, am I the host or the parasite, or am I both? So I'm just saying it's better to be both.
Um, good job.
Yeah, this
making
is.
a movie here.
I'm a filmmaker.
It's a
Making
movie
a
director.
You don't think putting out 40,000 videos is a job? Let me tell you, that's work, sweetheart.
I was like scrolling through my timeline and I see Clubhouse Room with Pepe in it. I was like, what the fuck is this? And I was like, oh yeah, it's John Kitover.
See, I perpetuate the madness. I keep it going. I'm actually the super secret guy stirring the pot because I have the records. I built the library in the house.
You could call me the historian. But
I love
technically,
how Jazzy thinks you have like a grand scheme plan, evil plan within you.
well, she's right because in a way, I have created my own social network because everybody's
But
tied to me now because they're all in my, you know,
doesn't everyone do that?
not to the extent that I've done it because I've infected their mind with a mind virus.
Yeah, we can see by Zach. What is his name again?
Yeah, Zach Ruda.
Yeah, that one. Yeah.
See, people want to play games on me though too, which is what I try to avoid because then it becomes a problem for me as opposed to be a
Oh,
problem for
okay,
the people
sir.
I'm recording. So I have
Wait,
to.
is it really true that you were the one that told Roger's name to Pepe, or is that a false witness?
No, somebody may have watched a YouTube recording of mine where I read off a list of all my donors, and that may be
Oh.
where they got it from.
Yeah, but still, how would they know it's him if you've read off the list of your donors?
I don't know. I'm just speculating.
Oh, this is why Jazzy say don't give money to him because you might say his name aloud or something.
Well, Jazzy can talk all she wants. She's free to stir the pot as much as she can. She does a great job. She's very funny. She goes into song and dance, and I find it entertaining. But I'm here studying, listening to the wisdom of the Dhammapada, which are the sayings of the Buddha. Have you ever heard the sayings of the Buddha?
The Tao Te Ching?
No, the sayings of the Buddha. It's called the Dhammapada. Well, you would think that, you're only alive for 365 days times 70 years on average. So it's like 25,000 days or something. You'd think that maybe at some point out of those 25,000 days, you might be like, you know what? I should probably spend a lot of time with books and certain books, because Buddha basically has 800 million followers. So what are all those people interested in? He has a book, and it's called The Sayings of the Buddha, the Dhammapada. It's pretty smart. That's maybe why it's so famous. But you don't know. You've never even thought about it till now.
That's funny.
You know what's crazy is I can't actually get the number of signatures I need to be on the ballot in March by myself. It's utterly impossible because I can't step away from my office essentially. Um, so
Why not? That's why people usually have canvassers do
I
the
have
stuff
like
for them.
I've recruited 15 people through Craigslist, but the communication with them is horrible, and it's going nowhere. So it's
Can you please tell us more about that? Can you describe the logistics of your Craigslist canvassers and have you met them?
no. What I'm saying is I can't communicate with them because I think it's a them problem. It's the quality of person responding to the ad. Like I can tell them what to do, but can they actually do it? You know, that's the thing. Not many people can actually print a piece of paper these days, put it on a clipboard, start walking to hotspots, and say, "Hey, I need you to sign this. Excuse me, sir, I need you to sign this."
Are you paying them?
Yeah, 15 an hour. But I've had out of 15 people, I've had nobody actually successfully print the petition. It's a PDF document. You got to have a printer. It's if you can't print it, we cannot work together. So that's life.
But so you've never thought about printing it and meeting up with them to make sure that they're representing your campaign